First contact and revelation. The quantum sensors aboard the Galactic Council's survey vessel, Eternal Seeker, had never registered anything quite like it. Senior observer Valera's crystalline form pulsed with bands of confused purple light as she studied the readings from the third planet of this unremarkable yellow star. The primitive civilization below had barely established a permanent lunar base, yet their neural patterns were off the charts. "Impossible," she whispered, her thoughts rippling through the ship's telepathic network. "Run the scan again." The ship's AI complied, and the results remained unchanged. The beings below possessed natural synaptic densities that rivaled the most advanced cybernetically enhanced species in the known galaxy. More remarkably, they had achieved this without any form of technological augmentation. "High Observer," a junior analyst transmitted urgently. "We're detecting unusual activity in their orbital defense grid. They've spotted us despite our cloaking field." Valera's form shifted to deep blue, their equivalent of a surprised laugh. These humans continued to defy expectations. The Eternal Seeker had the most advanced stealth technology in the galaxy. Even detecting their presence should have been impossible for a pre-FTL civilization. "Open communications," she commanded. "Let's see what other surprises they have for us." The response came almost immediately, transmitted in perfect galactic standard. "Unidentified vessel. This is Earth Orbital Defense Command. We track your position at coordinates 47.3 by 22.9 by 180.5. Please identify yourself and state your intentions." The bridge crew's collective amazement rippled through the telepathic network. The humans had not only detected them, but had already decoded and mastered their primary communication protocols. The surveillance drones they'd sent ahead hadn't even been in orbit for a full planetary rotation. "I believe," Valera transmitted to her crew, "we may need to revise our first contact protocols." Within hours, the Eternal Seeker hung in geosynchronous orbit above a sprawling metropolis the humans called Neo-Singapore. Below, the planet's governing council had assembled with remarkable efficiency. Most species took weeks to organize their leadership when faced with first contact. These humans had done it in hours. As Valera's shuttle descended through the atmosphere, she observed the city with growing fascination. Their architecture was a curious blend of efficiency and artistry, their technology clearly primitive yet employed in surprisingly innovative ways. The landing pad they'd designated was surrounded by a crowd of humans, their minds buzzing with an intensity that even her shielded sensors could detect. The shuttle touched down, and Valera emerged with her diplomatic escort. The humans showed no sign of fear at her crystalline appearance, only intense curiosity. A tall woman stepped forward from the assembled dignitaries, her mind radiating a calm discipline that impressed even Valera. "I am Director Sarah Chen of the Earth Unified Council," she announced. "Welcome to Earth." Valera performed the traditional greeting gesture, her form shifting through welcoming colors. "I am High Observer Valera of the Galactic Council. Your world has caught our attention in most unexpected ways." "We've been preparing for this moment," Sarah replied with a slight smile. "Though I suspect we've surprised you as much as you've surprised us." The next several hours were spent in a secure conference facility, where Earth's leaders presented their civilization's history and achievements. Valera's amazement grew with each revelation. These humans had overcome multiple near-extinction events, unified their planet without achieving technological singularity, and were on the verge of developing their own FTL drive, all while maintaining their biological evolution rather than turning to cybernetic enhancement. "There's something else you should see," Sarah said as the formal presentations concluded. She led Valera to a research facility deep beneath the city. "This is why we detected your ship so quickly." The chamber they entered contained a swirling mass of energy patterns that made Valera's crystalline form vibrate in resonance. "You've created a quantum consciousness matrix," she asked in disbelief, "without access to higher dimensional mathematics." "We call it the Nexus," Sarah explained. "It's a direct neural interface that allows us to process quantum information through our biological neural networks. We discovered that human brains are particularly adept at interpreting quantum states. Valera moved closer to the nexus, her sensors confirming what should have been impossible. The humans had stumbled upon one of the most closely guarded secrets of advanced galactic civilization, the link between consciousness and quantum mechanics, and they'd done it by accident. Director Chen, Valera said slowly, "I need to contact the Galactic Council immediately. Your species, you've achieved something that our greatest scientists have been attempting for millennia, and you've done it in an entirely new way." "Is that a problem?" Sarah asked, though her tone suggested she already knew the answer. "Quite the opposite," Valera replied, her form shifting to brilliant gold, the color of excitement. "It means we've been approaching the universe's greatest mysteries from the wrong direction. Your species, with its primitive biological approach, may have just opened the door to the next great leap in galactic civilization." As Valera transmitted her preliminary report to the Galactic Council, she knew this first contact would send shockwaves through the galaxy. The humans hadn't just surprised them. They demonstrated that everything the galaxy's most advanced civilizations thought they knew about consciousness, technology, and evolution might need to be reconsidered. The message she received back from the Council was unprecedented. Begin immediate integration procedures. Classification. Priority 1. Note: exercise extreme caution. Species shows signs of exponential development potential. Looking out over the sprawling city, Valera watched the sun set on humanity's last day as an isolated civilization. Tomorrow, Earth would begin its journey into galactic society. But increasingly, she suspected it wasn't the humans who needed to worry about keeping up. The galaxy was about to discover that it had been surpassed in the most fundamental ways by a species it had considered primitive. And this was only the beginning. The neural revolution. Dr. Maya Patel stood in the center of the Quantum Integration Lab, surrounded by floating holograms displaying neural interface data. 6 months had passed since first contact, and humanity's progress had exceeded even their own optimistic predictions. The Nexus technology that had initially caught the Galactic Council's attention had been just the beginning. "Run the simulation again," she instructed the lab's eye. "Focus on the synaptic convergence patterns." The air filled with cascading waves of light as human brain activity interfaced directly with alien quantum systems, where other species required extensive cybernetic augmentation to process quantum data. Human minds did it naturally, and did it better. Dr. Patel called out her research partner, Dr. Marcus Wong. "You need to see this." He gestured to a new data stream that made Maya's breath catch. The human test subjects weren't just interfacing with the alien technology. They were improving it. "That's impossible," came the thoughts of Valera, who had remained on Earth as the Galactic Council's primary observer. Her crystalline form shifted through shades of deep purple, indicating intense concentration. These systems were perfected over thousands of years. Maya pulled up the comparative analysis. "Look at the efficiency curves. Human neural patterns are creating quantum resonant states that your systems never achieved. We're not just using the technology. We're evolving with it." The discovery sparked a revolution in galactic technological development. Within weeks, research centers across Earth were combining human neural interfaces with various alien technologies, producing innovations that shocked even their creators. The Galactic Council's prediction of humanity's exponential development potential proved to be an understatement. At the Singapore Aerospace Complex, human pilots merged with Starship control systems, achieving maneuvers that AI systems had calculated to be impossible. In Moscow's Quantum Engineering Institute, researchers developed hybrid computers that processed information faster than any pure quantum or binary system. And in Cairo, medical researchers created neural interfaces that could heal injuries and cure diseases that had puzzled alien doctors for centuries. But not everyone in the galaxy celebrated humanity's rapid rise. Maya was reviewing the latest test results when the lab's security systems activated. "Warning," announced the AI. "Unknown energy signature detected." A shimmer of darkness materialized in the center of the lab, resolving into a tall, shadowy figure. The being's form seemed to absorb light itself, and its thoughts projected directly into Maya's mind. "I am Exodus," it announced, "representative of the Preservation Consortium. Your species' advancement must be contained." Maya stood her ground, even as security protocols activated around her. "On what authority?" "You don't understand the dangers," Exodus continued. "Your neural revolution threatens the stability of galactic civilization. The technology you're developing so carelessly took other species millennia to master, with good reason." "Perhaps that's exactly why we're achieving these breakthroughs," Maya countered. "We're not bound by the same technological assumptions. We're finding new ways to solve old problems." The shadow being's form rippled with what might have been amusement or concern. "You speak of innovation, but I see chaos. Already, your hybrid technologies are disrupting established markets. Traditional power structures are being questioned. Some species are demanding access to your neural interfaces, despite lacking the evolutionary adaptations to use them safely." Before Maya could respond, Valera materialized in the lab, her crystalline form blazing with protective light. "The Preservation Consortium has no authority here, Exodus. Earth is under Galactic Council protection." "The Council is short-sighted," Exodus replied. "They see only the potential benefits, not the risks of unrestricted human development. Consider this a warning, Dr. Pottle. There are forces in the galaxy that will not stand idle while you reshape the established order." The shadow being dissolved, leaving behind a tense silence. Maya turned to Valera, her mind racing. "How many others share the consortium's views?" "More than we'd like," Valera admitted, her colors shifting to concerned blues. "But also fewer than they believe. Your species has powerful allies, Maya. Your innovations in medical technology alone have earned you the support of the Healing Conclave. The merchant guilds are divided. Some fear your disruption of their markets, while others see unprecedented opportunities." Maya walked to the lab's observation window, looking out over the sprawling research complex. Below, humans worked alongside aliens from a dozen species, all united in pushing the boundaries of what was possible. The neural revolution wasn't just about technology. It was about breaking down barriers that had limited galactic progress for millennia. "We're not going to slow down," she said firmly, "but maybe we can do more to help others keep up." Over the next few weeks, Maya and her team developed a new initiative. If humanity's neural advantages gave them unique insights into quantum technology, perhaps they could use those same abilities to help other species bridge the gap. They began creating adaptive interfaces that could translate human neural patterns into forms other species could understand and utilize. The project, dubbed the Bridge, quickly gained support from moderate factions across the galaxy. Even some initial skeptics were won over when they saw the potential for collaborative development rather than simple technological disruption. But Maya knew the Preservation Consortium's warning couldn't be ignored. Humanity's rise was challenging more than just technological assumptions. It was shaking the very foundations of galactic society. The question wasn't whether change would come, but how to manage it without triggering a crisis that could tear the galaxy apart. As she reviewed the latest Bridge project data, Maya received an urgent message from Earth's Defense Command. Long-range sensors had detected unusual activity at the edge of the solar system. Something was coming. Something that would test humanity's new capabilities sooner than anyone had expected. The neural revolution had brought humanity to the forefront of galactic civilization. Now they would have to prove they deserved to stay there. Crisis and innovation. The massive holographic display in Earth Defense Command's central chamber showed thousands of ships dropping out of hyperspace at the edge of the solar system. Their energy signatures were unlike anything in the Galactic Council's database, and they weren't responding to any known communication protocols. Admiral James Chen studied the tactical display, his neural interface processing combat scenarios faster than any computer. Beside him, representatives from 12 alien species watched in tense silence as the unknown fleet advanced. "They're using some kind of quantum interference field," reported Captain Sarah Rodriguez, her consciousness partially merged with the defense grid. "Our long-range scanners can't get a clear reading." "The swarm," whispered Valara, her crystalline form dimming with dread. "We thought they were just legends, stories to frighten young ones. A species that exists partially in quantum space, consuming technology and energy to expand their consciousness." The alien fleet's formation shifted, transforming into a pattern that human quantum physicists recognized instantly. "They're creating a macro-scale quantum entanglement field," James announced. "If they complete that pattern, they'll be able to bypass all our conventional defenses," finished Dr. Maya Patel, who had been summoned from her lab. "No wonder the Galactic Council's weapons never worked against them. They're fighting in quantum space while we're stuck in normal space." The assembled aliens began transmitting urgent messages to their homeworlds. The swarm had appeared at the edge of known space before, destroying advanced civilizations and disappearing back into the quantum void. No defense had ever proved effective. But humanity had something no other species possessed: the ability to process quantum information through their natural neural networks. "Get me a direct link to the Nexus," Maya commanded. "And I need every human with quantum sensitivity rating above level 3 to plug in now." As klaxons sounded across Earth and its colonies, thousands of humans connected to the global neural network. Through their combined consciousness, they could perceive what the aliens couldn't: the true nature of the threat. "The swarm isn't just a fleet," Maya explained, her mind expanded through the Nexus. "They're a single quantum consciousness spread across multiple vessels. They don't invade spaces, they absorb them into their collective." James nodded, already adapting his strategy. "Then we don't fight them ship by ship, we fight them mind to mind." The next hours were unlike anything in human or alien history. As the swarm approached, humanity launched what appeared to be a suicidal counterattack. Small ships piloted by quantum-sensitive humans flew directly into the enemy's entanglement field. "What are they doing?" demanded a Preservation Consortium observer who had arrived to witness humanity's expected destruction. "Their ships will be absorbed." Valara's form brightened with sudden understanding. "No, look at the quantum resonance patterns. They're not fighting the absorption, they're guiding it." Through the Nexus, thousands of human minds merged into a unified consciousness that rivaled the swarm's collective. But where the swarm sought to consume and dominate, humanity's collective maintained individual identity and free will, a concept that the enemy consciousness couldn't comprehend. "Now," Maya commanded through the neural link. Every human pilot activated their modified quantum drives simultaneously, creating a cascading resonance that rippled through the fabric of space-time. The swarm's perfectly ordered quantum field fractured as it encountered something it had never faced before: a collective consciousness that embraced chaos and individuality rather than rigid unity. Their attempts to absorb human consciousness backfired as humanity's neural plasticity allowed them to adapt faster than the swarm could assimilate. "They're retreating," announced Sarah, monitoring the quantum disturbances through the defense grid. "Their collective consciousness is destabilizing." The alien fleet began to break apart, individual ships losing coherence as the quantum links between them shattered. Some vessels dissolved back into quantum space, while others remained in normal space, their crews separated from the collective for the first time in eons. In the aftermath, as rescue ships approached the stranded swarm vessels, the true magnitude of humanity's achievement began to sink in. They hadn't just defeated an invincible enemy, they'd found a way to free its victims. The Preservation Consortium observer turned to Maya, its dark form swirling with what might have been respect. "You realize what this means. Your species hasn't just changed the balance of power in the galaxy. You've proved that technological advancement doesn't have to come at the cost of individuality." Maya watched as human medical ships began treating the freed swarm victims, their neural interfaces allowing them to communicate with beings that had been trapped in a collective consciousness for generations. "That's what the consortium never understood," she replied. Humanity's strength isn't in our technology or even our neural capabilities. It's in our ability to remain individuals while working together. We don't need to sacrifice identity for unity. News of the victory spread across the galaxy at FTL speeds. The species that had feared humanity's rapid rise now saw them in a new light. They had faced an ancient terror that had destroyed countless civilizations, and they had done more than survive. They had found a way to save those who had been lost. But as the immediate crisis passed, new challenges emerged. The freed swarm victims needed help integrating into galactic society. Other species demanded access to the quantum defense technologies humanity had developed. And somewhere in the quantum void, the remainder of the swarm consciousness plotted its revenge. Humanity had proved they deserved their place among the stars. Now they had to prove they could handle the responsibilities that came with it. The integration effect. The Global Integration Center in Neo-Singapore hummed with activity as representatives from 100 alien species crowded its halls. 1 year after the swarm incident, Earth had become the galaxy's unofficial center of innovation. Dr. Maya Patel watched from her office as crystalline beings, energy forms, and bodies of living light mingled with humans, all united in the pursuit of knowledge. Another delegation from the Merchant Guild has arrived, announced her AI assistant. They're requesting priority access to the neural interface protocols. Maya sighed, checking the latest integration statistics. Since humanity had demonstrated their ability to merge consciousness without losing individuality, everyone wanted to replicate their success. But it wasn't as simple as sharing technology. "Tell them what we tell everyone," she replied. "We're happy to collaborate, but they need to participate in the full integration program. No shortcuts." The program she had developed, now known as the Harmonious Integration Protocol, was humanity's answer to the chaos their innovations had caused. Instead of simply distributing advanced technology, they taught other species how to adapt and innovate in their own unique ways. In a secure lab below the center, Admiral James Chen was conducting an experiment that would have been impossible months ago. A group of former swarm victims, their quantum consciousness now individual but intact, worked alongside human scientists to develop new forms of faster-than-light travel. The ability to exist partially in quantum space wasn't a technological advancement. One of the freed beings explained, its form shifting between normal and quantum states. It was an evolutionary adaptation, but your species showed us how to use it without losing ourselves. James nodded, his neural interface translating the quantum fluctuations into understandable patterns. That's what makes humanity different. We don't see technology as a replacement for biological evolution, but as a tool to enhance it. Above them, in the center's diplomatic wing, Sarah Rodriguez was mediating a dispute between the Preservation Consortium and the Progressive Alliance. The former still feared humanity's influence on galactic society, while the latter wanted to accelerate the sharing of advanced technology. "You don't understand the risks," the consortium representative argued, its shadowy form pulsing with concern. "These innovations are spreading too quickly. The galactic economy cannot handle such rapid change." "Change is already here," countered the alliance leader, a being of pure energy. "Humanity has shown us that progress doesn't have to mean losing our identity. Their integration protocols are helping species advance while preserving their unique characteristics." Sarah raised her hand, silencing both parties. "Perhaps you should see what we're actually doing before making judgments." She led them to an observation deck overlooking the integration labs. Below, beings from across the galaxy worked in pairs and small groups. A crystalline meridian learned to process quantum data through its natural lattice structure, guided by a human mentor. An energy-based Phoraxian discovered how to maintain stable form without technological containment by studying human consciousness patterns. "We're not creating a single path of advancement," Sarah explained. "We're helping each species find their own way forward." The results were transforming galactic society. Species that had relied entirely on technological solutions began rediscovering their natural abilities. Ancient rivals found common ground in collaborative research. The rigid hierarchy that had dominated galactic civilization for millennia was giving way to a more dynamic, adaptable structure. But not everyone embraced the change. Maya was reviewing the latest breakthrough in quantum medicine when her security systems activated. A holographic warning materialized: unauthorized quantum fluctuations detected in the lower labs. Security breach in Lab 7, the AI announced. Unknown entities attempting to access the neural interface mainframe. Maya's mind connected to the security grid through her neural interface. The intruders were using advanced cloaking technology, but she could sense their quantum signatures, a splinter group of the swarm, still connected to the hostile collective consciousness. "Initiate Protocol Omega," she commanded. Throughout the facility, humans and aliens who had completed the integration program linked minds, creating a defensive network that was both unified and diverse. The attackers, expecting to find isolated systems they could overwhelm, encountered instead a complex web of interconnected consciousness. Every attempt to breach the facility's defenses was met with adaptive responses drawn from dozens of different species' natural abilities. "Fascinating," observed Valara, who had arrived to witness the defense. "They're using the same principles that defeated the swarm, but evolved. Each species contributes its unique strengths while maintaining individual identity." The attack was repelled within minutes, but it highlighted both humanity's success and the challenges they still faced. Their approach to advancement was reshaping the galaxy, creating new possibilities, but also new vulnerabilities. In the aftermath, Maya called an emergency meeting of the Integration Council, the diverse body that governed the sharing of advanced knowledge. "We need to accelerate the program," she announced. "The old powers are falling, whether we like it or not. We need to ensure what replaces them is better." The council chamber erupted in discussion as representatives debated the path forward. But Maya noticed something remarkable. Despite their different origins and forms, they were communicating with unprecedented clarity and understanding. The integration effect wasn't just changing technology. It was changing how species interacted at the most fundamental level. As the debate continued, Maya received an urgent message from Earth's Quantum Observation Network. Strange readings were coming from the galaxy's core. Readings that suggested the greatest test of humanity's new approach was yet to come. New galactic order. The quantum disturbance at the galaxy's core grew stronger each day, its effects rippling through both normal and quantum space. In the Global Integration Center's primary command chamber, holographic displays showed the spreading disruption as it destabilized hyperspace routes and interfered with quantum communications. Dr. Maya Patel stood before the assembled representatives of the galaxy's major powers. Her neural interface processing data streams from thousands of sensors. "The readings are clear," she announced. "The disturbance isn't natural. Something is attempting to rewrite the quantum foundations of our galaxy." "The Ancient Ones," whispered Valara, her crystalline form dimming with awe. "The first species to achieve quantum transcendence. We thought they had departed for another dimension eons ago." "Not departed," corrected a former swarm being, its quantum state fluctuating with agitation. "Waiting." The collective consciousness remembers them. They seeded the galaxy with quantum technology, watching to see how younger species would use it. Admiral James Chen's tactical display highlighted the pattern of the disruption. They're not just watching anymore. They're acting. But why now? The answer came in a form none of them expected. The quantum fabric of space itself seemed to ripple, and a presence manifested in the chamber. Not physical, not even energy, but pure quantum consciousness. Its thoughts reached into every mind simultaneously. UAVCAKNGHPATTERN. It communicated. Millennia of KREFULGUIDANC disrupted by your UNPUREDICTABLEVOLUTION. Maya stepped forward, her mind opened through the neural interface. "You're the ones who left the quantum technology for other species to find. You wanted to guide their development toward perfection." the Ancient One confirmed. Toward Kihi pure unity of Kiwan Surviovidas and es, we HHAV'd. But you AAVC or repeat puro siestes, with your Kiaotoiki methods. Understanding dawned across the assembled beings. The Ancient Ones hadn't departed. They had ascended to a higher state of quantum existence. The technology they left behind was meant to guide other species along the same path. The swarm hadn't been an enemy, but a failed attempt to follow that guidance. But that's where you're wrong, Maya replied. We haven't corrupted the process. We've discovered something you never considered, that unity doesn't require uniformity. Through the neural network, humans and their alien allies demonstrated what they had achieved. Not the rigid quantum consciousness the Ancient Ones had sought, but a harmonious integration of diverse minds and abilities. Each species contributed its unique perspective while maintaining its individual identity. Impossible, the Ancient One declared. Q ordinances IOUs and ESS must evolve to the word perfected order. Must it? Sarah Rodriguez challenged, stepping forward. Look at what we've achieved by embracing diversity. We've solved problems you never could, created innovations you never imagined. The quantum disturbance intensified as more Ancient Ones manifested, their collective consciousness pressing against the fabric of reality. They had returned to correct what they saw as a deviation from their grand plan. But humanity and their allies were ready. At Maya's signal, the integration network activated. Across the galaxy, thousands of beings linked minds through the protocols humanity had developed. Not surrendering their individuality to a collective, but joining in a symphony of consciousness where each voice strengthened the whole. The Ancient Ones' attempt to impose their version of order met something they had never encountered, a unified resistance that drew strength from diversity itself. Every attempt to override the quantum harmony of the network was met with countless adaptive responses, each species contributing its unique abilities to the defense. You sought to guide us toward your vision of perfection. Maya communicated to the Ancient Ones, her consciousness expanded through the network. But you couldn't see that true perfection lies in imperfection, in the endless dance of different perspectives coming together to create something greater than the sum of its parts. Through the neural interface, she shared humanity's journey, their rapid rise from a pre-FTL civilization to a galactic power, not through domination, but through collaboration. She showed how each species in the integration network had grown stronger by embracing its unique nature while learning from others. The Ancient Ones' quantum consciousness rippled with what might have been uncertainty. For the first time in eons, they encountered a paradigm that challenged their fundamental assumptions. Your Pate as Ulilan King Novoan, they communicated. Unpredictable. Dangerous. Yes, Maya agreed. But that's exactly why it works. Evolution isn't about reaching a perfect final state. It's about endless adaptation and growth. You achieved your version of perfection and stopped evolving. We choose to keep growing, keep changing, keep discovering new possibilities. The pressure from the Ancient Ones' consciousness began to fade as they processed this new perspective. The quantum disturbance at the galaxy's core stabilized, but didn't disappear entirely. We will give you a teach, they declared, and learn. As the Ancient Ones withdrew to their quantum realm, they left behind a galaxy transformed. The old hierarchies of technological advancement had given way to a new order based on collaborative innovation. Species that had once competed for dominance now worked together, each contributing their unique strengths to the greater whole. In the Global Integration Center, Maya looked out over the assembled representatives of this new galactic society. Humans worked alongside crystalline beings, energy forms, and quantum entities, all united in the pursuit of knowledge while celebrating their differences. What happens now? Asked a young alien researcher, its form shifting between states of matter. Maya smiled. Now we keep exploring, keep innovating, keep growing. Because that's what we do best. not seeking an impossible perfection, but always striving to be better than we are today. Above them, the galaxy spiraled on, its quantum fabric harmonizing with the countless consciousnesses that called it home. Humanity had not just found its place among the stars, they had helped create a new way of existing among them, proving that the greatest power lies not in uniformity, but in the endless possibilities born of diversity.